Uh, I do, please.
Oh, good. By the way, all of us have glasses except I can't see Christina, but the rest of us all have our glasses on.
It's
I
the so yesterday there wasn't a recorded thing, right?
Yeah, there was just a club meeting
But
call.
it wasn't posted. Right?
No, not yet. I was downloading it and putting it up.
That's fine. I just want to make sure I'm not completely over the hill crazy.
No, yesterday's call went like this. I'm very tired. What questions do you have for me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You should have just taken the week off, sister.
I really could have, but this is not what's happened right now. So I went to bed pretty much after that call, and now I have finally woke up, except for the whole preppers thing. So,
Can I ask?
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask one? Sorry, Jackie. After our quarterly meeting, you said you were going to send us this stuff, and I missed it. That's okay. Her dog's woofing. I know, huh?
Stop it.
Hi, Wanda.
So how about that weather?
I know, huh? Is he just having a hard time, Jackie?
This dog, yeah, he's just
He
wants
feels it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Feels mommy.
Yeah.
Well, I was just wondering if you sent anything, or if I missed it, or if I didn't miss it yet.
You know, we've had some confusion of who's supposed to be sending what in my organization for sure. And
Okay.
I'm supposed to send everything. So that's a new thing. Okay. But I don't know what you need it for. So why don't we just address what we need? Because I'm about implementation. You guys, you're on the calls. What is it you need to do? What do we need to be doing to move you forward?
You gave us a whole list of homework after the quarterly thing.
Yep.
That's what I'm looking for.
To write your script and all that stuff.
Yeah, there was a whole list, and you said you would send this and you would send that, and I didn't re-listen to the recording. So
did you? I'll put it right here right now.
cool.
But did you write anything? Because that was the whole thing. We listed it out. Did you write any part of it? Because I said it in both things, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So you're going to tell us that kind of stuff.
Okay.
What is it that you guys, who hasn't written something? You all have speeches to write that are written? Not quite? No. Okay, that's okay.
I am slamming it.
Slamming it. Awesome. Okay.
Slamming it.
Good girl.
After Canada, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's an explosion. It's awesome.
Nice.
And so thank you for kicking me in the ass.
Here's the thing, guys. I mean, really, we want to implement the stuff that we're learning when we can do this. So firstly, what I'd like to do is go over any questions and then start to hear some stuff. Then I wanted to see what your critiquing level's like right now without knowing the exact system. And then I'm going to tell you the exact system.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So Wanda, yes.
So did everybody get videos to critique? Because I never got them.
No, I didn't give you guys those.
Okay. No. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
We're on the same page. We had a little bit of a who's going to send what. And now we don't know. So I think it's me. How do you like this face? This is showing my exact how I feel right now. Okay, all right.
It's going to get better from here, Jackie. No worries.
Yes, it is.
No worries.
One of the things.
Wednesday.
That's right.
Here's the thing, what I found. I'm just going to actually step everything back and I'm going to tell you some stuff that I think is cool. We were in Canada and we had really super powerful experiences. When you get in the hot seat and when you just open up, there's some really powerful things. When I'm coaching, I hear questions that I need to ask people next time, or you keep seeing patterns that are coming up. And one of those patterns was, what do we need to give up? What do we need to release? What do we need to let go of? What are we distracting ourselves with? And I kept saying that and I went, you know what? I'm pretty sure I'm distracting myself with a lot of stuff that just doesn't matter anymore. And and at this point, hi, John. I really was interested in that question. What is the simplest path? What can we do to simplify what we're trying to accomplish here? So I just wanted to share that with you because I think it's important and relevant. And, I guess the way I work too, maybe we need to clarify some of that stuff. If it's like, here's the list of things, I send a lot of stuff out and people don't look at it, or they do, but really we need to be writing stuff. We need to be putting what we hear and implementing it, getting it done. That's kind of what I think needs to happen. So let's go through the questions first. And I'm making a list of who wants to go first. And I'm making a list as we go. So who.
Are you asking us to give
Who has a
you-
question? Who's got questions?
I don't.
No?
Oh, I have a question.
Sure.
So I looked at the speaker videos
Mm-hmm.
and I responded to all those questions.
Mm-hmm.
Who do I pass that to?
What videos?
For the speaker training,
Uh-huh. Okay.
it asked a series of questions.
Right. I'm confused.
Here, let me see what I called it.
Are you saying in the online thing, John?
The online course.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you answered them in there, they are in there. They go in there.
Okay, I answered them am I supposed to answer them in there, or I answered them in a Word document? Am I supposed to pass that to anyone? No, I guess
Well,
the answer to the question is keep them all on in the system.
Yeah, but here's the thing. How did those questions, what did they do for you? Did anything come up for you? How was that?
I loved it. It gave me an understanding. Like I've done, $4,000 to $5,000 hours of facilitation training, like in the 2 past jobs I had,
Yeah.
and not just, it wasn't training. It was, in the moment doing the facilitation. And so I have so much experience, and it just renews my belief in this path.
Yes. Because a lot of times this stuff isn't for me, right? It's for you guys, right? I like you doing it inside of there so that when you ask me about it, we can talk about it and I have it. But if you're doing the questions, the purpose is exactly what John just said, right? It is for you guys. I'm not testing you. It's, your business.
That's the question. The question am I having to validate and prove myself to you? So do I need to
Yep.
pass it to you?
Yes.
So that I do need to pass it.
No, you need to validate yourself to me.
Okay,
Prove
okay.
your worth.
Yes.
But not in those questions. This is really for you. So when you do things like what you just did right now, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, oh my gosh, this was so meaningful to me. I looked at my past experience. When I see you critique, what I'm looking for, literally the only thing that validates is that another powerful learning we had was in a hot seat. Actually, it was Christina. And we have a lot of ideas we want to give people. There's a lot of good things that we think, but this is our judgment, our agenda, our itinerary. This is stuff that we want them to know because we're proving we're smart and we have good ideas. When truthfully, what I noticed was I felt these ideas were being bombarded at Christina. I'd like to get your perspective actually, because I was thinking a lot about that, Christina. But I noticed, the breathing, when people's breathing gets up in their chest and their shoulders go up, this is an uncomfortable feeling. And uncomfortable feelings happen for a couple of reasons. Sometimes when people call me out on my stuff, I'm uncomfortable, and it's good because it's just me. But sometimes I'm uncomfortable because it's like this. I made a choice and thought that might be going on for you, Christina. Would you like to maybe weigh in on the experience?
Sure. It was really interesting for me because in my mind, I didn't feel like I was being bombarded, but then as you pointed out in my body, which I'm supposed to specialize in reading body language, I was blind to what was going on for me. And I just thought you were so masterful at noticing that and then there was something so much deeper that was going on. And yeah, it was really powerful. And I think it just felt like the real life version of what I go through all the time. Like, I have so many ideas and I want to try them all. And then it's, I guess it's frustrating to not be able to do them all, or else I try to do them all and then I don't see the results that I want. And then I feel like, okay, that didn't work. So what's next?
Mm-hmm.
And I also appreciated all the love and support. So it was a really mixed emotional experience.
Mm-hmm.
And it was super valuable. And when I got to the point of that I just want to help people, I think that's the crux of being in that energy and wanting to give that energy. And that's the whole issue that my target audience is going through as well. We just want to help people. And it can be an overflow that contributes to the overwhelm.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was super powerful. And I've thought about it a lot as well since then. And I think it was really valuable with you facilitating it to ask me what was going on for me. And I was just even noticing that with my son today. Like, it's helpful as a parent too. We were showering ideas on him rather than getting him to say what are you actually scared of?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or what's going on internally. So it was,
yeah.
I highly recommend the discomfort of the hot seat. And the other thing is that it allowed me to reinforce for myself something that I teach, which is it's okay to be in your emotion, and it's painful and it hurts and it's temporary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's amazing. So many things around that was a powerful experience for sure. What I took about from that for this particular segment of helping people work through things like messaging, we can get, it's a creative process. No matter how you want to slice it, it is going to be finding that word, that thing. And when we're actually facilitating other people, it has to be about them, a 1,000,000%. I'll tell you a story. It's not going to shine me in the best light, but I'm going to tell you. So I used to teach yoga, and I love yoga. And I had this neighborhood of these women, and it was a cul-de-sac, and I called it the cul-de-sac because they were just like Stepford wives or something, and I did not resonate with them. And I felt that they were, kind of mean, and they would exclude my daughter. And there was a whole bunch of stuff that happened in that neighborhood. And one day, this one woman from that place showed up into my yoga class. One of the neighbors came into my yoga class, and I was like, oh. And because of the way that I feel when I'm standing in front of a group, I had a flash of the ego, everything going like, oh, do I have to deal with her? But then not long after, getting yourself into the state where you're watching the room and watching the class, I completely forgot who she was. And she became somebody who needed my assistance in certain ways. And literally that was it. And I'm grateful. I don't even know if this is I don't recall how I know this or how this happens, but it is very important to separate the Jackie from the facilitator and to make the person the only thing that we're trying to use every sense that we have of our entire being to understand them so that we can help them make the breakthrough, because everything that comes out of them is going to come from their own brain. We're not going to give them the magic word, the idea. We're going to give them the love, the support, the container, the permission, right? That's pretty much it. Hey, Kimberly.
Okay, because I'm dying. Because permission was one thing that I wrote down.
Ooh.
The way that you navigated, not just Christina, but every single person, you showed up differently. And I noticed that. I wrote that in my notes, that it was about you meeting them on their personal level where they were at, There wasn't any of this. It was just, what do you need? What do you need? So giving them permission, you know. Also, you also gave each one of us space to explore. And I love that because it was sort of this form of curiosity that you allowed. Yes, you allowed everybody, you pulled them in, but you set the stage for the individual to explore it in their own mind. And you kept bringing it back to that. I know that. And because we're all like this, we're like, here, I've got all this for you. You know what I mean? We don't want to do that. That's why we're doing what we're doing, because we all want to help each other. But as the facilitator, that is one thing I noticed. And then when it was time to pivot, when it was enough, you also used your authority to stop. That's that. We're moving here now. And I wrote all of those things down in my notes because I just thought this is the real shit. You know, like this is what we need.
You know what's making me feel happy is I had a fear. One of the fears was, can I get people to do this? Because there is a human being at stake when you're giving critique to them. And there's things like, all right, here's what you're going to do at the beginning. You're going to set up a call and determine the length of the speech. And you're going to listen to it. You're going to say, did they make eye contact? Did they do this? Did they do that? And that's all easy. That's on a sheet. But really, can that inherent listening happen? Yeah, it's got to be somehow translated into this procedure for me to feel good. So I'm loving that you said that. I think it's amazing. What else? What else does anybody want to share? What do we got going on? Quentin? I haven't found my joke yet, but I will. Whoa, there's feet. Bottoms of feet. Yes, Kimberly.
Is there a way that, I mean, there's something that you feel in addition to like practicing, if you will, like, is it good to have a couple friends that you know and sort of, hey, you know, you want to get on a Zoom call with me or whatever and just sort of practice the things that we've learned, you know, going through the facilitation. I mean, obviously we're not certified, but I'm just saying, you know, really exercising that. I thought of one thing that would be kind of cool as an exercise, even with each other, is pairing off and going, okay, so you're going to do a 1-minute thing or whatever, and then you be the facilitator, and you know what I mean? It sort of flips.
Yeah. See, this is the thing that I love about this, which is why this bonus kind of training came into place, is because I also want to sidestep and give you another teaching moment here. People need to do pilot beta programs. You literally have to do them, because if you don't, and I've seen too many people invest time, energy, money, video crew in crafting their whole training without understanding people and humans and where the holes are, like the holes of not getting the material to you guys, the active on-site facilitating, like these things have to be explored to make the program awesome. And then you get the feedback, like what Kimberly just said, where a practice critiquing is probably a mandatory thing. The thoughts that come to my head, and maybe I want to ask you guys this, what if you feel like the critique didn't go well, or you felt like you should do this and you didn't say that? I'm trying to explain, like, what if it didn't go well and you're the person who got the critique and you didn't feel it? How do you critique the critiquer is one of my concerns in the process. If you guys are together doing that, right? Because you'll say, oh, that was great, thank you so much. But if you feel something inside and it's not there to be recognized by the...
Well, that's why I think it's cool to have two people that are doing the same thing on the same level, you know, as we're all in it together, because then you give freedom to that person to critique your critique and go, well, remember Jackie said da-da-da-da, or we learned this in whatever. You know what I mean? Somebody who's going to give you the honest feedback to go, I think you're a little too harsh on this, or I think you're a little too, you know, you're doing all the talking back, instead of, you know, allowing them to just be who they are, receive what they have to say, point out the things that are of high quality, and pose the things that are negative in a way that's teachable, if that makes sense.
I totally agree. I just want to reflect I guess I want to dig the question a little deeper. Christina said, I didn't realize that was happening, but I should have, not that you should have, but you didn't realize sometimes that this is happening to you in the moment. Like, how does the person who got the critique, do they recognize that in the moment is my question, I guess. It's a deep question.
Survey at the end? Can you do like a survey with them?
Well,
Like,
sure, but it's a human thing. It's a layered thing. So I'm just wondering. I'm not saying yes or no.
What if you did 3 people and somebody critiqued the speech and somebody critiqued the critiquer?
Well, that's what we're doing now. It's what we were doing here, and I was going to critique both.
See how you are.
I was going to go with that because that's kind of who, I thought would be a good person to do it. Hey, over here. So any more questions? Because that's exactly what I wanted to do today, just to get a feel for your style. Because I don't want it to become an intellectual process, because I really don't believe it's solely intellectual. I believe we've got to hear it, right? And that's been my challenge, to put that on a piece of paper. Before we do, in the chat, can I add add a PDF? I don't think I can I?
While you're doing that, I have a comment.
Comment, yes, all right.
If I were constructing this portion of the teaching, I would have people in small groups or partners and doing the feedback. And I would assign the person giving the feedback to do it several times, watching for different things. So this 3-minute talk, you're going to watch for body language. This 3-minute talk, so the person does the 3-minute talk again, or you're going in a group of people or whatever, but this time you're going to listen for the core message. This time you're going to, and have the opportunity to do it with the same group of people with different things that you tune into as the facilitator.
Totally. I love that. Do you guys who wants to give a 5-minute? It does not have to be totally thought up or prepared, but okay, Kimberly will. So Kimberly will do that. And who wants to play the role of critiquer? Come on. Okay, Christina. Awesome. I'm giving no guidance here. I'm just letting this kind of free flow from an improv standpoint. And then we'll go over, I have some critique objectives here, but I just want to do it a little bit free flow right now.
Okay.
Who's got a timer? Do we have a timer somewhere?
I can look at my clock if you want.
Awesome. John's got it. He's on it. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Okay. When I was flying home from Canada, there were a lot of emotions that I was absolutely overflowing with. And I began to write. And I thought of Jackie's comment to all of us, which is, it's better to edit crap than it is to not edit anything. So I just began to write, and I was free writing, and it was flowing out. And the topic that came to my heart was the scars of the heart. And I started writing about this and about how when I look at my body, I've had a lot of different surgeries. And so I noticed there was a scar from my gallbladder. There was a scar from my hysterectomy. There was a scar from a cancerous mole that was removed. There's a scar from where my teeth went through here and right here when I was like 17 years old in a car accident. There's this big jaggedy scar in the front, which is about 6 inches long, and 2 in the back, my back fusion. And I started thinking about how ugly these scars are and how much I dislike them. But the thing that I really thought about is there's the scar of the heart. Those other scars are truly visible. You can see them easily. But the scar of the heart, you can't see. It's invisible. Only I know that it's there. And it was interesting because, as many of you know the story of my husband and the betrayal and the things that happened with that. But what you don't know is the fact that the woman that he had the affair with was from Calgary, Canada.
Sorry.
Yeah, and that's where she was from. And so I remembered standing out when I first got there, the very first day that I got there. And I'm looking out at the majesty of everything that's before me. And I was so wrapped up all the while prior to leaving of what's going to happen. And I got to remember this, and don't forget your bathing suit, and, you know, all of these things, that I totally forgot about this woman named Bobby Joe. And as I stood out there and I was taking it all in, all of a sudden this rush came through my body, which was, oh my gosh, she's from here. This is where it happened. And I thought to myself, what am I going to do with this feeling, you know, that I have, this distraction, this scar of the heart? What am I going to do with it? Is it going to get in the way of what it is that I'm supposed to fully embrace this whole time? And I made a choice at that point. And I thought, no, I'm not going to allow that to come in front of me and dictate my present, and surely not dictate my future. And so what I decided to do is take one big deep breath in, choosing to inhale the goodness of what was going to take place, and exhale the junk, the hate, the anger, the pain. And I began to pray for Bobby Joe. I just stopped and prayed for her right then and there. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to choose right here, right now, to release this once and for all. And what happened to me, which was so amazing, that which I thought was ugly became beautiful in that moment. And it allowed me to embrace the scar, because it was the springboard towards greatness and what the future held for me.
Yay! One second. We're frantically writing notes. All right.
Minute. You have another minute if you want it. I mean, we're still raptured, but so you still have us.
That's okay.
All right. Go ahead, Christina.
Okay, Kimberly, I thought that was exceptional. I know you have a lot of experience in ministering and speaking, and it really shone through to be able to craft a complete message in less than 5 minutes that had so much impact. I had goosebumps, especially when you were talking about the scars of the heart. And in your talk, I particularly loved how you touched on the 4 elements of humanity: mind, body, spirit, and emotion. You talked about the scars on your body. And so I got a physical understanding of what you've been through. You shared so much of yourself just by going through the different scars that you have. And then I got an impression of you emotionally, that you chose love over hate and praying rather than holding a grudge. So powerful. In your mind, you made a specific choice. And then with spirit, you breathed in and you exhaled. And that is our direct connection to spirit. So I found that really powerful. I thought that you shared so much of yourself in 4 minutes. You are very authentic. And I felt really connected to you because of the way that you chose to share it.
Thank you.
And it made me think of the Japanese concept of wabi-sabi. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's when a bowl or an object gets cracked, and we would think of that as being ugly and broken, but instead they fill the cracks with gold.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's exactly what your talk was about, is turning the ugly to beautiful and honoring the scars by filling them with light and good and gold.
Thank you. I love that.
Wabi-sabi, everyone.
Awesome. That's so nice. All right. Does anybody want to add anything? Does anybody want to add anything at this moment? This is all freestyle and terribly scary because there is a method and I'm not telling you. I just want to check out some style. Why don't we all give her like a little bit of what we think from this? Scary.
I gotta go, so I'm leaving. Kim, that was just beautiful. And it's very freeing when you start praying for somebody. Then you have their best interest at heart. It changes the way you think about them. So that was a huge thing for me. Love you guys. Gotta go. Bye.
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 Jackie, I also have to leave, so if I could just say something to Kimberly. Kimberly, I saw the video that you shot when you were at the also at the airport, and I see how in the delivery that you gave today, I just see you blossoming. You are a beautiful person inside and out. Love you.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Sweet.
Amazing.
Ah.
Okay.
And I just want to say, you just so hooked me and captivated me. I'm a little distracted on other things that I'm doing in the moment, and you totally sucked me in and had me pay attention because of the words that you were saying.
Thank you,
And
John.
how you were saying them.
This is hard to receive this.
Oh, I just want to say that I saw you speak at Speakers Retreat, and I've grown to love you. But every time you speak, it's just a deeper connection that I have to you. It's like you just bring people in, and you just, I don't know, you connect on a way that I just wish I could speak like you. If I can speak like him, I feel like I'll be able to get my message out, because it's like you truly, your passion and your care for others comes through.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Love it. Quentin. Don't know why that's funny every time. Okay, fine. Marie, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Fine. Let's hear what you got to say.
No, I thought that was wonderful. She definitely had that soothing tone throughout, that you could tell that she's being authentic and sounds like somebody you can trust. Definitely reeled us in. So what kind of method are we doing with the evaluation?
I just want to hear what you had to say. Just keep, that's good. I'm good with that. That's perfect.
Okay.
And I'll just hear from you, Marie. I'll tell you what the method means in a minute.
Beautiful story, Kimberly. I'd kind of like to see you slow it down a little bit and really connect with that emotion and have a little more high and low and that in there. But I thought it was beautiful and heartfelt, and you could really move people with that. Really let the message come through that you're trying to convey to them. But I love the physical scar and the emotional scar and connecting that together. Kind of like that. The body keeps the score a little bit. It reminds me of that. Awesome.
Amazing. Guess what you guys, go ahead, Christina.
The other thing that I was just thinking, like if you were paying me to critique you and you wanted a growth area, I would say use that last minute to connect it back to the audience. So your call to action, what you want us to do with that information.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so perfect. So this part of this exercise here for me was to see what you guys would do with this. I was looking at the critiquers. Kimberly, by the way, always your storytelling ability is what's so amazing about you as a speaker. That is hands down one of your gifts and strengths, and we know that from just way back. From marketing and putting this into presentations to do certain things or to move people towards new ways of thinking, being, feeling, that is a really big strength for you. But I wanted to see if you guys would start with the proper, I'm going to give you some positive critique that's meaningful. And so that meant to do that, you would have to listen to her, which you all successfully really did. The next layer of this would be to maybe ask, well, not the next layer. When we're doing this for real, what we do ahead of time is we find out what the person wants to do with this particular critique, growth area, etc. So the technique comes into play. But I don't think people should know the technique unless I know that they're kind-hearted people who are not going to get in there and do certain things. So thank you for that. So, Kimberly, if you were going to take this particular speech go to somebody who's going to give you feedback, I would like to ask you, and can everybody write this down? This is what you would ask them. What is the purpose of your speech, and how would you like for me to help you improve?
The purpose of this speech for me is to move people into a place of recognition of the fact that this is one thing that we all have in common. Because we all have scars of the heart. And what we do with that and how that makes an impact in our everyday life, whether it be mental or physical. Because when you take this sort of thing in and you don't release it, then it can attack you physically too. You know, it can come out in sickness, you know, just a lot of disorders can come out of holding on to that. So my purpose in it is to awaken people to the fact that they too have these things, address these things, and that true freedom and release can be found. I loved the feedback of everybody. I loved what Marie said about, you know, the pacing it. John was right on and telling me, but you got another minute. You know, I need to be more tactile, if you will, or tactful, I should say. Tactful in my approach is into what am I trying to evoke in you? What do I want you to do now? Since you just heard that story.
Yep.
So really honing that in for me. It's just harder for me because when I speak, you know, like a lot of people have a stride. There's a certain stride that they have, and I know how to do that and put a bow on it and put it there. But for me, what I'm really trying to hone my skill in is doing that in a 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute. Do you know what I mean? That's harder for me than it is to do it in a 15 to even 50 minute talk.
Only because you're sliding into your messaging. That's why, and that's why it's easier for us to do it, because we'll find the words. What's happening here that I want you to know about the critique. So you've just had this conversation with Kimberly. You've said, here's the technique. What is the purpose of the speech that you would like me to critique, and where would you like to improve? And she said a lot of things, which is going to happen because she's a speaker and we're verbal processors. And we're going to say what we're going to get at this point, a commitment from her that we're working on the same thing. So I might say to her, so the purpose of your speech is to bring people together, to get them to release pain that they're holding on, and you want to move them to what is the action that you want them to take, because we aren't hearing it. Christina hit that. I didn't hear the call to action. So I might try to reframe these two questions because I didn't hear what I can do for her yet. Did you guys? Because my ears just didn't hear it. Didn't mean she didn't say it. What do you think the purpose is of her speech and what she wants improvement with? Anybody know, or do we need more clarifying questions from her?
Just from hearing it initially, I would say that the purpose was about forgiveness and really learning to embrace that, and so that you could actually for yourself more so than the person you're forgiving.
Mm-hmm. Another thing too, maybe we didn't put this, maybe I didn't put this around it, but if somebody's coming to you for a critique technique, they're going to be wanting to do something specific. We just gave her here's 5 minutes, right? So they might say things like, well, I'm going to be giving a 5-minute presentation at Speaker Club, and I'd like to really be able to fully tell a story, or I'd like to be able to inspire people. You're going to hear that a lot. I want to motivate people to have breakthroughs in their lives, right? When you hear that, what is it that you guys are hearing?
They want to help people. Basically, they want to help people, but they need to figure out what pain they want to address, I would say, like what specifically, what challenge are they meeting, and what pain can they solve for them. But
Not necessarily. I'm going to stop you. I hear you because you hang out with me a lot. So you would think that because that's what we want. But when they say things like, I want to motivate people, I want to awaken them, they are looking to, the purpose of this speech is to simply evoke emotion. That is it. That's all that they're looking to do. We don't know if they're business owners. We don't know if they want to sell them something. If they come to you and they said, I want to get people to move into my program, we're going to be looking at things from a different point of view than if they said what Kimberly said, which is, I want to inspire people and make them look at deep inside of themselves. I want to, and the patterns are this, right? Like, I get you, Marie, because that's what you hear from me all the time. But when you critique, it's going to be different. We're trying to hear what is it they want to do. So if I was to say you want to make sure that you're really evoking emotion in the listeners, would that be accurate?
Jackie, I'd have to agree with you on that.
Okay, good.
Because actually, I don't really want to be motivated. I just don't. Because I think a lot of people mix up, and this is only my opinion, they mix up motivation and inspiring or evoking emotion. Mm-hmm. Because to me, inspiring could also be that sort of bridge that doesn't have a solid foundation. Because sometimes people think of inspiring as, I'm going to go to a revival meeting or something, or getting motivated is, Tony Robbins. So I like the idea of evoking the emotion, because then to me, you're really touching someone. Mm-hmm. So from my own perspective, I want to thank you 10,000 times, because that sort of changed, my 5-minute or 15-minute or the purpose or whatever, because evoking that emotion really gets people involved. And then they have a choice if they're going to look inside or say, no, I don't want to. Because honestly, in the 80s, when I'd have to go to those, like brain gyms, I'd be sitting there bored looking at my brain had little weights going up and down, or it was on a treadmill. And it just, motivation just for me didn't do it for me, or even that fine line of what inspiration is. I'm looking for the practicality, and I believe that's what most people are. What can this really do for me? Not anybody else, but just me. Not my family, not my work, but just for me in this moment. But, and that's
No, that I really love that. And I didn't even know I was saying it so well until you said that. Because I actually want to add to that and really see if we can clarify this, because I think what you said is incredibly important. Motivating. I want to motivate you. You're like, I don't want that. I want to be the catalyst for your change. I don't want that. You are my ideal client. No, I'm not. You should eat your vegetables. You don't know me. This is what the feeling is, right? But when people will say that, I'm a motivational speaker, and we don't like that. I don't. We don't. Most people don't. When I speak, I want to evoke emotion and insight within you, right? I want you to come, which is why when I say don't start a story or a speech with, have you ever had this very specific thing, this one, because we're just listening to try to figure out, okay, good, now we have something to talk about. If we invoke the emotion, they paint the picture themselves as the audience in our mind, which, Kimberly, you actually do extremely well, right? And so I would say to her, thank you, by the way, Sherry, I really love that. So the purpose of your speech that you want to give is you want to evoke emotion into the audience member so that they can have a deeper insight and a powerful healing, something like that.
I think as a speaker, what I try to do in every message is find out what I have in common with that person or with that audience. Mm-hmm. And so when there's a common thread, I think it brings people together. When you start painting a picture for them, they start thinking about their own scars of the heart. It immediately connects you. I don't think I'm not trying to motivate you. I'm challenging you, I think is what I would say. I'm challenging you to go deeper because I'm not a superficial person. I don't like to be here. I want to go deep with people. And there's just not a soul out there that can't say that they don't have a scar of the heart. Mm-hmm. But that shouldn't be the controlling factor in our life.
So I'm going to stop you. What she's doing when we're working with our clients is she's telling us a whole bunch of things about her belief system. And we're going, yay, and we can sit and listen till we get it. But the job right here is to come to an agreement with you that, and it's got to be their words, because if we just decide we know, it will not work with our critique. This is why this is nuanced, right? So it's like, okay, Kimberly, so your purpose of this speech is, and we'll keep going until she says things like, I want to challenge the audience to go deeper. What you're looking to is to really challenge the audience to go deeper, and you get them to say something. Now, what kind of improvement or what's been holding you back from being able to do this, or how would you like to improve this? Do you know what I mean, guys? Yep. I'm looking at you guys, now I'm looking at you guys. So we're just making sure that when we're critiquing, we're hearing what she wants us to hear. Look at my ears when I do that. Sorry. What would you like to improve on in this particular speech?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is the call to action. And I think it was just because I was on the spot. If I were to write it, I think it would be a whole different, thing. But this was something that was just given to me fresh.
Yep.
But nevertheless, I think in honing my skill, I need to always have those elements no matter what. So I loved what I heard from everybody, and I wrote it all down because I need to be ready at any given moment to make sure I'm hitting all of those things. Mm-hmm. And so what I want to grow in is really bringing that call to action, because what I would love to finish it off saying is, and I want to be the person to walk with you through this. I want to show you, I want to assist you and show you that there is always hope, there's always a way out, and there's always a way of complete healing and release. And you gonna come buy my package.
Awesome. Okay, so what did we hear in that close? Anybody want to tell me what they heard in that close? And this is extremely important because this is where she said she wants improvement. What did we hear for that?
Let me help you.
Okay.
I heard that she wants to work with them. She wants them to come to her and let her assist them in the process.
Right, you said it.
Of releasing, in the process of identifying with that pain, those scars, and releasing.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel that the way she said that will be effective in getting what she wants?
Well, I think it could be said a little better.
Okay. This is so open and honest, and we love each other. That's why we always start positive, but let's hear why this could.
Yeah. How did that happen for you, basically? I think you can tell your story and you can say, I was here and this is what I did and this is how it happened for me and this is what can happen for you.
Mm-hmm.
I would think more of that.
Anybody else?
Okay, how about results? Some sort of, with the clients I work with, they're expecting a result and they actually get it. This is when I'm working on one-on-one or in classes, and this is a different venue for me. But is it for all of us, not just Kimberly, maybe to throw in some practical results? And it couldn't be like, I'm going to heal myself, because people call me a healer and it makes me throw up. So like something really practical that in 30 days, I might look at something differently. I might not be, that challenge might not look so big. And maybe that challenge is an opportunity. So when I'm working with people like that have cancer or depression or they're getting off crystal meth, that's one of the things, like, what would that look like? And it doesn't have to be really specific. I call it a generalized specific. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's awesome.
This could be a result. You're not giving them the result, but you're having them look at it in a different result. Like your challenge could be an opportunity, whatever it is, or this thing that's been going on in your life. I will tell them they're stuck in the calendar. Like I will ask them, what date is it? What's the day? So that they look at it differently. I don't know if I'm blabbing too much. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're blabbing, but that's good. We love you. You're saying we want a result, and it makes perfect sense. I love that you gave examples around that, because I'm just like Sherry. We're going to really make sure that you know this. I love it.
Generalized specifics.
Generalized specifics. Does anyone want to add to that? Because I think what Sherry's saying is extremely important. Do you want to give a take on what Sherry said? Marie?
I think people always want to know that you've gotten results. So if you have testimonials or specific results like, look, this is what happened, this is what I can do for you, I think that is always helpful. Results definitely speak loudly. Because you can say that you can help me do this or that, or you can say, look at these results. Look at the facts. Look at the stats or something like that.
Marie, you hit the word facts. That's what people are looking for, factual results without being specific.
Right.
I love that. I love the generalized results. You guys are nailing it, by the way. So generalized results would mean in this particular story, we don't have to know the specifics of what your offer is. I'm going to just switch it one thing because we all kept saying it. She wants to do this. I want to help you. I want to do this. A very technical piece in a call to action speech, which would do what you're asking them to do, which is to give results, is when we're saying the words, I want to be there for you, we switch it to you. How can we say words with more you instead of I? I want, when we say that in our call to action, I'm not against it, but it's got to be, I always switch everything first into what can I say that would be you? I want you to get this because it means something to me, because when you do this, you will experience so much more peace and joy, and you will not have to walk this path alone like I did. Generalized, specific.
So it's not about me, it's about you.
And that's the thing for me that was missing in the call to action. The call to action is them, and they were saying that, they were hitting it. I always beef on peer feedback, but peer feedback is generally, it's got a very amazing place where they say things. The problem with peer feedback is if I asked her to say, okay, give me a result, we'd have to understand the underlying. We know it intuitively as people listening because we have ears, but the intuitive part needs to be layered with what specifically happened for us. And you nailed it, by the way. I want was the cue words. Oh, it's got to be switched somehow. Does that make good sense?
Can I just add something, because I have to go in 10 minutes? But
Sure.
What I love about this group, and this is just my opinion, but I believe it's the truth, is I love everybody's sincerity.
Mm-hmm.
And Kimberly, that comes from you. Like, you know it. You emanate. Everybody does. Marie does. Coach Q, it's that sincerity. And to me, that is like one of the best connections that comes out of people's mouths. You know that they made their change using their tools. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that is where I feel the passion, especially from Kimberly, all of you. But that's just my opinion, but I'm just being
and what you did now was the next step, which was, again, just a classic sandwich technique. We need to give a very specific something for her to do. We gave what we felt and what we thought, and then you came back and you ended it beautifully so she could go, yeah, like, I'm going to improve this because, number one, I know I'm onto something good. I'm a storyteller. I am invoking emotions. The place I need to improve is to clarify my call to action. We gave you a specific thing. Can you please switch this around? But I have to tell you, I love this group and I love how sincere you are. Like, that felt okay, right? Yeah. And then we can peel this deeper. So this was an Johnny on the spot, which I think are very important for us to be able to do, because people will come to you for critique me, and they're going to say, well, I didn't write anything, or I just want to let the downloads happen, or however they want to present that. You have to be able to critique like this. When they say something, what if they said, I want to evoke emotions so that people will move forward within my programs. So when Marie was talking, now she's talking into this place where it's like, okay, well, I need to have some more specifics, right? And this is where we go through the list. What's the theme of what she talked about? We just go through our checklist. What do you think the theme is, Kimberly?
Freedom from release.
Okay.
You know, it's the forgiveness part.
Yeah, I was going to say forgiveness.
Okay. And the plot, what kind of plot did we have? Like, did we feel that there was a plot? So I'm going to go with you. I'm just going to tell you here. So you started off with kind of a reflective opener, which I really liked, by the way. When we said, I was recently in this particular place, you did a great job of actually putting me into the scene with you. Because now we're not thinking of what do you have to prove. I had this moment. What I may have done here was you did sort of start listing tragedies. I may have taken that out and focused on a singular tragedy, which you did because you slid into the opener. I do that too. It would have been like, I was reflecting on just life in general. And, you know, we've all had things, but this one thing came really clear to me, that I had a husband who, and then you said, for those of you who know the story, I had a lot of stuff. We maybe didn't know the story. So you may want to give a higher level, like, he did all this stuff to me, but, you know, it might've been like, he wasn't a wonderful husband considering he wanted to have a girlfriend. You know what I mean? Something, right? Something a little bit light, not too heavy. I landed in the airport, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and it just hit me. This is where his girlfriend is from. And all of a sudden I was hit with, and here's our story arc. I'm hit with this emotion, like all of these things are coming at me because we can relate, right? I'm feeling like blah, 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 blah. And then you said the line that I thought was perfect for the plot. It's the climax in the 5 minutes. What am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with these emotions that are coming at me? So I didn't feel that the inner turmoil was given as much in the story to evoke the emotion. We went straight to, if you're looking at core message clarity, how did I come to know this? What did I do to overcome this? You told what I did to overcome this component of your story beautifully. I took a moment. I took a breath. I decided I was going to pray. I decided, like, we knew that part of the story really well. I would see if you're going to tell this speech, because it feels like a really good core story to me, by the way, that just expands my turmoil. How did I come to know this? I had this feeling and I felt confused and overwhelmed and lights were too bright. And, you know, like, that's what we're looking for in these moments, because this is the emotion and this is what you're looking to do. So I breathed for her and I prayed. And then I realized that there are so many people that I work with who need, here's the you part, who need support and community, who would benefit so much more if they had somebody to walk with. I want to walk with people. If you need that, if you need somebody to support you, then, you know, I would love to step up there for you. See the tweak in the call to action?
Totally.
So yeah, I mean, it was really a fabulous core story. I'd recommend you writing that down and keeping that in your pocket. By the way, it's a good one.
I've got it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Thank you guys very much.
How'd you guys think of my critique? I'm a director by trade.
Would you throw a testimonial in there at all?
No, it's good.
Would I throw a testimonial in there? Can I, well, brilliant question, but I would think I need more information around it. Here's the technique. Step one, you get a client, you ask them, how long is the speech that you would like me to critique? What is the purpose of the speech, right? What is it that you would like to improve? Okay, and then that's the first part. That's like the pre-stuff. So if they're giving me, say, maybe a 15-minute speech, maybe I can have a case study story in this. If I'm doing a longer presentation, then sure, maybe I'll have some testimonials. In a 5-minute, no. We need to prove ourselves in short periods of time with story. This is when we have lengthier pieces of time and we have bigger price points that we're asking people for. Like, here's a $15,000 program I would like you to join. You probably want to see a success panel. You probably want to hear some case studies. But all we're doing right now is we're asking them to take one more step a little bit deeper so that they literally investigate what working with her would look like. A 5-minute speech is an invitation for us to get to know her better. And those are done through story. Does that help?
So no case study either. No, this is what happened for someone else, or
if we
not
have
in 5 minutes.
if we have longer, and case study stories are also stories in the toolkit of the signature speech, that sometimes it needs to be pulled out and sometimes it doesn't, because at this point we know that she just wants us to work with her or learn more about her. If she said something like, say we had more time and she went, I want to be there for you, and if you need this, here's what I do for people. Mechanical offer, right? I will go through a 90-day coaching session with you. We'll dig through blah, 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 deliverables. It's important, you guys, we're bringing around to state, that you understand that this does work. Let me tell you a story about Christina, and then you can have another story where the case study testimonial comes up. I'm not a fan of speaking factual testimonials. You need them on websites and things. I'm a fan of testimonials being showcased again as story. So-and-so said I'm wonderful versus I was working with this person and they had this problem, they had this solution, and this, feels better.
I really like the illustration part that you brought in, Christina, because I'm so going to use that about the wabi-sabi, because that just underscores what I'm saying, right? And it's another layer to the story that brings it into a very factual place. I mean, that's actually what happens, but to know that you can walk with people that can be used like that gold filler along with you to really build you up and enhance you as a person. I mean, I absolutely love that. That's like so going to be used. Did you hear me, by the way, Christina, use your name on my thing on Facebook?
No, I didn't listen to it yet.
The difference between bravery and courage. And I used it last night at my Bible study when I was leading it too.
Nice.
So you're famous.
You said something important, both of you ladies. I'm sorry. I want to just tell you something that's super practical about what just happened here. I'll just bring everything practical. I was with Wes and Dan, and we were they were buying a hat in Lake Louise, and I saw one of the skis up on the wall, and I said, I had told them a story about something called a shot ski. And so I said, which is basically a bunch of shooter glasses lined up on a ski and you drink them at the same time. It's called a shot ski, right? And so I said, I saw the ski and I said to the store guy, I said, do you know what a shot ski is? He's like, oh yeah, where they have the shot glasses glued on it. And I said, yeah. And then Daniel quickly pulled out his phone and he started, he's like, they're glued on it. Let me make note of that. And I said, what are you doing? He said, well, I've been writing down things that I really enjoy or like or want to bring into some of my songs or my art. And so when you hear something like what Christina did, it is important to have some place for the creative mind and for the sizzle and the color of your stories, that you write that down and say, I'm going to use this. Dave Chaparral, who said he's so good at telling jokes that he'll just make punchlines or cool things that he thinks of, puts them in a fishbowl and pulls them out and tries to frame a joke around that. Like, that's what the gift you just got from Christina. So it's the critiquer, Christina, and you hear that, or anyone else, you would say, oh, you liked that? Make a note of that. See where you can weave that into your story. So you're giving a practical step with what you're doing, because it's a balance of holding space for people and giving them practical action, if that makes sense. What time do we have here? Oh, yeah. Do you guys have to go?
I just want to know, are we doing the Pure Potentials at 2? Or the Elite?
Well, it's only once a month.
Okay. There's been so many things. I just want to make sure. Okay. So no.
No, I mean.
No, that's fine. I'm going crazy. I've got 20 million things on, and I got to skedoodle in a minute. But
I know. It's June 20th and then June 28th. Is the next meetings, right? I know I've thrown extra bonus things in, and in good intention, I've given you guys a lot of stuff, which I don't want to overwhelm, but I also want to just, want to understand and dig deep into this. I think the conversations have been very powerful, and I think you guys are getting the meaning of this, and it's been good to dissect creativity into a logistical step-by-step fashion. You said something. I was thinking about your hot seat. I do. I think about your guys' stuff, and I think about my performance, and I think about your needs. And that's what a critique is. It's a constant two-way. And you said, I need this step-by-step, right? And so your type, do you know Ayurveda? Like a mind-body typing Ayurveda? The way to balance your mind-body type is by doing the opposite. Meaning, I'm space and air. I can spin out of my body. I need grounding techniques. If you're an earth and water type, you need more space and air to get more invigorated so you don't just turn into mud. So if you're really struggling because I need to have a step-by-step, your job is to dissect it into the creative because it needs the creative to create the messaging. My job when I hear that is to take the creative and to processize it so that I can have it heard more in a step-by-step. We're speakers, we're verbal processors, this is beta, we're doing it together. Does that make good sense?
Totally.
Okay, good. All right. It's good we're doing it together. It's nice and deep. Who wants to do one more 5 and maybe we'll just go through another one right here? I feel like it's John. I don't know why. I just do. And Crystal, do you want to critique him? I like how your eyes got real big. Like this. Okay, cool. All right, John, can you time yourself or do you need a timer?
Okay.
I can, it's 10:37 and I'll be done at 10:42.
Very smart. Critical thinking.
So I'll begin by asking, is your life going easy? Is your life filled with harmony? Is your life going the direction the way you want it to go? So I've been on a journey in my life over the last 21 years. And 21 years ago, I got diagnosed with MS. And it caused me to deny the truth. And it made my life really hard. Denying the truth actually over 6 years allowed me to realize some amazing achievements, but it caused me to crash and burn because I was out of integrity with my true self. And I had to find a roadmap for making life easier and more harmonious. And I had no idea what that was. I thought it was making a lot of money and having a strong mind and a solid body. But that caused me to crash and burn. And that wasn't the answer at all. And when I was down on my knees, I had to start to find a new way. Because my old way was going to have me in a walker and a wheelchair in a matter of months. And so what I did is I went inside. I went inside for 4 months, 13 years ago, and basically escaped from the world. Escaped from the world because I had to find a new way. And what I did was I found 4 of the key elements to well-being. And it was around the mind, the body, and the spirit. And I hadn't known them at all before. And I started to tune into my body and my intuition. And I had to, and I started to tune into my emotions. I had thought denial was the answer. And that did not work at all. Funny thing is, I was married to a Scorpio. And being married to a Scorpio, you have to tune into your emotions. And you know what? That may be why I married my wife, is because I was so emotionally illiterate. And so I went on a journey for the next 13 years to find out what a vibrant life is. And it started with my body. And it started with everything I put in my body and exercising my body. It moved to my emotions. It started to be in integrity with my emotions and listening to my intuition and feeling my way through life, not thinking my way through life. And it went to my profession. The work I do had to be really in line and integrity with the impact that I wanted to have in life and the way I wanted to serve others. And it went to financial well-being, which was all about money but truly serving others and truly being in line with abundance. It's not just about making a buttload of money. It's not. It's about serving people and being in integrity with how the gifts that I have that can serve them and make their lives better. And in turn, that will serve my financial well-being. Next, the fifth thing I found was all about social well-being. It's all about the people I interact with. Those people are the keys because I speak my truth. I speak my reality. The interactions, the social interactions that I have with others, they are what generates and creates my reality. So I found that fifth key component. The sixth key component was all about my mind and all about being in touch with where I was going and where I wanted to go and having a plan. And the seventh element was all about the spirit. So being in the realizing the miracle of the moment and having true connection with all other people. And so that's the essence of my story and the gift of what I want to give to others. I want to assist others to make their life more easy by connecting with those 7 key elements that allow people to nurture a more happy, healthy, harmonious, and happy life. I'm done.
Woohoo! All right. We're frantically, people are taking notes. It's exciting.
Thank you. I love doing that.
It's exciting.
I had never done that so off the top of my head. And I so appreciate this venue and this opportunity.
Me too. It's blowing my mind right now. Sorry. Go ahead, Crystal. I'll just deal with it.
Okay, so I made notes and I had to duck out a bit. I have the kids screaming, so I apologize if I missed something. But I wanted to say that I really like the way that you started with your story, but you really dug into the story. But what stood out to me is how you immediately identified that there were elements that you found on this journey. And so I knew as you kept talking through, you were going back to those elements. And so you walked me through each one. So by the time you got to the end, I felt like you recapped what those were and then how you were going to help me walk that same journey through those elements to be healthier.
Awesome. Amazing. I love that you heard it. I'll expand on what you heard in a minute because I think it's pretty brilliant. Anybody else want to say anything? I think you should.
First of all, John, I love you. I love you. And I heard you in the 5-minute when we were in San Diego. So I got to be there to hear that. And I have to say it's developed because now it's not on a piece of paper, it's in your being. And there's so much to be said for that. And it's really, this is something that it's true to you. You know that it's a fact. And it's almost like you bring us like this, like you have to listen to what I'm going to tell you because you can't argue with something that's happened to somebody else. That's the beautiful thing about a testimony, right? And the thing is about a testimony, You can't have a testimony without the test. So you brought us there, right? You brought us there. The part, you crammed a lot into 5 minutes, like 7 things in 5 minutes is a lot. I don't know if this is right or wrong, but a suggestion is you might want to, if you can take a couple of those things and compact them. So maybe in a 5 minutes, you've got 3 things, 3 main things that you're going to just hammer home. And then when you have them with a longer period of time, you can really expound on all 7. But that sort of whets the appetite, like, ooh, like I wonder what all 7 are, you know, but you can kind of, I think, mull that around. But I love it, and I love the joy that you have with the experience even of the pain that you went through. I wasn't all like heavy in it, because you brought this on your face. It's like you're all lit up. How can I be sad or like, wow, that sucks, or, you know, but you as Jackie said before, you sandwiched it with, I just wanted to know what you're going to say next. So I thought it was really wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Christina.
John, I could really feel that you have walked through this. I could feel your authenticity. I could feel your deep desire to help other people experience the way that you lived your life now. That was so clear. And that came through your tone. It came through your pacing. It came through the words that you chose. So I thought that part was really effective. And I liked that you said what it was like being married to a Scorpio, because I'm a Scorpio.
No, so am I.
Yeah, and I didn't actually know that, that you have to be in tune with your emotions when you're married to a Scorpio. So I liked that a lot. For some ideas for you, you started with some questions. The question that I really liked, that I felt could be a great start, showed up later in your talk. And it was, what is a vibrant life? I think that would be a really juicy way to begin. And then you could touch on it later. You could keep coming back to that. And then the other thing that well, 2 other things. So the first one was, I wanted to know a little bit more about the beginning of the plot. How did you come to know this? I wanted to know more what it was like, the difficulty of being diagnosed with MS. What, like you said, you were wheelchair bound, but I wanted to know more about what that experience was like for you, to contrast how great it is now. And then the other thing is, I liked Kimberly's suggestion of diving deeper into 3 rather than 7. And what I wanted to hear was an example of what listening to your intuition is for you. Like, before I would have done this, but now I did this. A clear example, or a clear example of what it's like to deny the truth, and then how you would feel your emotion now, and what's the benefit of that.
I love it.
And overall, it's already really powerful. And if you make some of those changes, like, you're already captivating. I wanted a little bit more of the day-to-day nuggets of what it's like for you. And when you add those in,
yeah,
like, we're already, as Kimberly said, being drawn in and tugged on our shirts. It will be no questions asked. Yes, I have to see what those other 4 things are, and I will have to work with you.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Quentin or Marie, which one of you wants to go next?
I'll go. I think so much has already been said, but I really enjoyed the story. The MS really pulled me in, because when I hear something like that, I'm like, oh, wow, and look at him now. So that grabbed me right in the very beginning. I got a little lost with because I'm that linear person. I'm that organized, step. I want to hear, kind of like I think Kimberly said. So I got a little lost as you said these 4 principles, and I heard you say mind, body, spirit, and then I was like, wait a minute, hold on, where's the other one? And then and then I got lost even more when you got to the 7, because I'm like, okay, there was 4 here, and then there's 7 here, and okay, what's going on here? So that kind of threw me a little bit. So I felt kind of a little bit bounced around there, and I was identifying with all of it, but I'm trying to put it into somewhat of an order in my mind. So that kind of got me. But I love the story. I thought it was great, and if we can kind of flesh it out a little bit, and those numbers. The Scorpio thing for me was totally lost. I didn't get that at all. So I think that depends on your audience. Because I'm like, what the heck does that mean?
Scorpio loved it.
What? But it was great. I love the passion in your voice and the whole story and where you come from. I love a story like that.
I love it. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Quentin, I'm so excited about what you guys are doing, by the way.
Yeah, most definitely. So just like my mom said, I feel like a lot has been said already, but I agree with Kimberly as well, that it was awesome, very awesome story. Would have loved to hear a little more compact and direct, like, here's the 3 things, that helped me and that I know that, I've mastered and I'd be able to help you with, or something like that. But yeah, same thing with my mom as well. I love stories like that. That's like that real hero's journey, especially when you hear something like MS. And, me, I worked in, the hospital for 8 years. So I know about all kind of different things like that. And it's amazing, to be able to triumph things like that. So yeah, really great job. But yeah, more clear and direct maybe with the steps. But yeah, it was awesome.
I love this. Okay, so when Crystal was talking about this, she said, it was amazing. I loved your stuff, everything. I loved when you dug into the story. So here's kind of the way that I started the sandwiching technique when I heard you, and they're all saying this exactly the same. I said, there is an inherent likability to you. That's a big win on a stage. You have that great smile, which Kimberly said, and we liked your opener because we could feel your energy and passion. That's exactly what I wrote. So you're hitting it, nailing the same kind of feelings. When you're doing a rhetorical question opener, which I thought your questions were fine, for me, 3 is perfect. Don't go anymore because sometimes that beats it. But I didn't hear after it why the importance of why you were asking these questions. We simply went into how did you come to know this, which you don't have to tell us why the questions are important because you can do it in a different way. You can either go, what was one of the first questions? Does anybody remember?
I think, are you living a great life?
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Living? Okay.
And do you have harmony in your life?
Right. So if you say that, we might think about it, but it's like, why is this even important? Just something to follow it up so that we could have more meaning on it because we can't even really remember that. Then so if we had more fleshing out there, or what Christina did, which is a critique, important, humongous, very significant thing, is that she suggested opening with a different sentence, but she suggested opening with one of his sentences. It's very risky to open with one of your sentences because you're putting your flavor on it. If you can, they have the answer. They're the subject matter expert. Pick it out. One of the things that Crystal, when she said you really dug into the story, there was a moment where you slid into it and things started lining up, and it's usually when you get into a place where you feel something fun. I know that E-Marie didn't like the Scorpio thing. We did. We have a bias to it, but check this out. Using Christina's thing. What does it mean to live a vibrant life? Pause. Let me tell you, I was married to a Scorpio, and the one thing I can tell you about this is that if you're married to a Scorpio, you need to be in touch with your emotions. Like, I just think that moving that opener, we kind of get it because we're like, he was married to a person and there was stuff. Like, we can all get that, right? That, for me, when you started talking like that, was a moment where you were into the story and where we felt like you dug in. for you guys to know this as a speaker and as a critiquer, when you hear somebody really getting into that, it may be an interesting suggestion to move that to the beginning and then develop into the other things. Because that's what we usually do. That's core message clarity. We start listing certain things and then we get into the story. Step number 3 is where we kind of figure out what kind of opener can we put on top of this, and then we start listing it from there. Because your story, to me, one more thing before we do that. Quentin and Marie said something really important as well. Every speech we give needs to have an element of organization and emotion, right? You nailed the emotional crew here. You got the Scorpios and the emotional people in the house. We're all in, right? We're here with you. We're buying it because I feel something. But then we have to have the logical piece, the succinctness of the order. And when you hear that, you went, oh, I'm not hitting those ears quite right just yet. So it was incredibly important. As a critiquer coming as a creative point person, we've got to remember that a speech has 2 things. It has the creativity, the emotion, and the organization to it, which we'll get more into. I have this stuff. I was really using today to dig into seeing if you guys have the chops, which I couldn't have been more pleased with how today went. Important learnings, if you're going to suggest a line, tweak or use the one that they have given you, because that's going to make them feel so dang good. It isn't even funny. I love that you did that.
It did. I tell you, it totally resonated with me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You also said something incredibly important, John. I love this. First time I did this off the cuff. I love this process. I love that you love the process because you can feel it. You felt when it was like, oh, things are lining up. And for me, you know, I've slid into my fair share of speeches on stage, and you're like, if we can do it in this format, like you said, we can come out of the gate so much stronger. I loved this. So what I'm suggesting is, number 1, logistically, if you guys need, because Kimberly had mentioned that she had people who may be interested in this right now. If you're getting gigs and people want you to critique them, you say yes. We'll get this. We'll get the stuff. I'll help you, support you through whatever process you need to do. But I do want to continue doing some more of this, and I'm not done with you technically, if that's okay. Don't turn down the biz. Let's do what we've got to do. I do want to incorporate maybe some more of the practices, but I'm not sure. I don't want to add more things to the plate. Let me just get myself organized right now, which is I want to make sure I give everybody everything that was promised from the last couple of weeks. That's what I want to only focus on today. I was going to go and let everybody know that we're only using 1 link from now until the dawn of time, which is going to be this one. Whatever call it is, it's always going to be this. So if you show up at the wrong call, you'll know where to show up. You can always leave. You can stay. So I just need to clear up a few things to be more linear on my end, if that would be okay with you guys. And then we'll reconvene next Wednesday. Does that work? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, John.
The online course, there's an expectation that we do that, right?
Oh yeah, there's an expectation. Here's what I said last time too. I'm cleaning that up. So I have a whole separate one, right? That's going to be more, so you guys are getting the beta version. Still go in there and do that because I'll fill that up, but it's going to look different after this. So I keep adding to it, but I don't add over there necessarily at the very beginning because I'm making sure things are nice and tight on my end too, which takes time. Got to recraft things. Kimberly?
I have a request.
Okay.
So because you've been really heavy, like on my heart, since we left Canada, not in a negative way. I just want you to just, at least from us, but I know it's from everybody, because I just want you to just close your eyes and take a big deep breath and just really exhale stuff. And yeah. I just want you to feel like a warm oil go from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet with just absolute love, praise, appreciation, all the gratitude from all your baby chicks, because we love you and we know you've been going crazy. And guess what? I'm a big part of that. You know, John's a part of that.
John gives me no grief at
We're
all.
all a part of it. But I just want you to feel the permission to be human.
Yeah.
And yes, you took a day to just relax and take a nap. Another nap might be in order because we're fine. Because you're leading us well.
Thank
you.
you.
I just wanted to say that.
I do appreciate that. And that's what I like that you said, is that it is an intuitive thing, because I feel really good, just so you know, but there is definitely a shift happening for me. I do feel great, but I appreciate that you can feel that stuff, right? And I love you guys too, so that means a lot. Don't make me cry. Yeah. All right. John.
I love bouncing between being live on stage and then digging into the content and making it, and then trying to make it real. Like, and it's the combination of the two. And this is the only program that I've had where I have the combination of the two. So like, it's not like I think about the speech and I think for 3 months and then give one. No, I think about it and I give it that week, and then I write notes on it. And so the iteration process happens so much faster. Like that's one of the real gifts of what this is.
Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. I'm blushing.
And you have that recorded.
I know. Don't worry, that didn't fail to go through my marketing thing. That's awesome. Well, you guys are amazing. We'll reconvene on next Wednesday. And is next Wednesday the 20th? It is. So next Wednesday is when we have the 2 p.m. Spotlight Elite component of it. Awesome sauce. And by the way, Crystal sold her first sponsorship package for her event, which is exciting. And it's making, I loved it. They gave a little comment, which was, we got some hotel contracts and they just seem too good to be true.
Yeah.
Twofold. Number one, you're probably in alignment, and also let's read contracts really, really carefully.
Okay.
Because even this weekend, I thought, man, everything just aligned so perfectly. Like, we walked into the Banff Springs Hotel, into the museum, and I always do that, but there was all these chairs lined up, and all of those chairs were exactly how many we needed to fit us and a stage. And I'm like, well, hello, sit down, please. Here's a stage. So these things sometimes do really align, a lot of times. And then also we do the practical due diligence of looking at the contracts. But you guys are doing amazing.
We're trying, I tell you what. I feel like we have to touch like 500 people, though, to get 50 vendors. And I did what you said, and I joined all these groups in Vegas, and I'm all excited. And I'm like, we're going to be inundated. And I posted, and no one's done anything. I'm like, oh, no, did I use the wrong wording? Do they not like me?
Maybe it is true, though. And that's like, okay, cool. I just got to touch 500 people. That's really, because that metric you can actually do. If we go, oh, don't worry about the sale ever. I never do. I focus on filling the funnel. 500, all right, check. And then I have weird little boards, and people make fun of me because I would draw a thermometer when I did the Festival of Health. And I would tape it up on this wall right here, hand drawn. I've got a 60 club goal. I do crazy things like this, like, here's some blanks. I'm going to write them in, and I'm going to enjoy the moment when I have one, because I know it just takes time. So I keep myself entertained and not dejected with goals. Otherwise, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
It's hard to focus on what we have done instead of what we have ahead of us.
Right. We're not focusing on the little wins. We're like,
do this. I've been here. I just was hiding under Crystal's
It says
name.
my name twice. I'm on here twice.
I don't know why it keeps doing that, but I'm here.
I'm sorry, I was not ignoring you. I would have made you speak.
Oh, that's okay. I was hiding.
Okay, sorry. Shocked me. John.
I want to celebrate again.
Yay.
So I love celebration.
Me too.
It's part of my coaching, a big part of it. So I've been following your LinkedIn, and I've been getting 10 a day. and I've grown my audience 300, and there are people, I found out how to find my people, and I'm on a radio show because of it. Yeah, I'm on a radio show, and I've got a live speech next month, and yeah, it's working.
Woo! Because we focus on the thing of what we can do, right? Let's get these numbers up here, and those things unfold for us. They do. I know. It's awesome. You guys are doing so good. Oh, my whole day is made. Anyway, well, I'm going to get off here. I'm going to do my work, and you guys are amazing, wonderful, brilliant speakers and critiquers.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.